Well, I think it's a bit of good news with Josh Evans. I mean, there's a guy who could very easily not have been playing rugby, but has done enough to earn himself a deal. I'm
really delighted for Josh. Yeah, he was in quite a bad place, and rightly so. When you've picked up an injury and you have to leave a club, and we're delighted that he's made the improvements that he's made. I think the medical staff and the performance staff and the time that they've given him has been superb, but also the attitude that Josh has shown. He's a dedicated young man, and he's got that desire to get back. There's still a long way to go for him, but we hope that he's going to keep making the improvements that he's making. He's shown that in the couple of A games that he's had. But he's been able to cope with the weekly battering and make sure that he can survive that, and that's what this next 3-4 months are going to show.
And if you can get him back physically to where he was, you've got a player who can make an impact for you.
He's a really good player, and an affinity with Bristol, with the way that he played in the lead up to the playoff games a couple of years ago, and he's a super lad.
Just dealing with injuries, and one career that's just finished, an ex-Bristol boy, I guess, somebody you know relatively well, and Andrew Sheridan, having to call it quits at the top of the game at Toulon.
Yeah, with Hobson retiring, and it happens a lot now. With the physicality of the game, the uncompromising positions you get yourself into when you're involved in the tackle or the tackle contest, when you're rucking, and with the hits and the power of players now, it is meaning that the injuries you're picking up on occasions can be career threatening. And for Andrew, he's had a fantastic career, at Sale, at Bristol, and now at Toulon, and for England and the Lions. And it's been in terms of the way that he's played, it's been very different to other players, but he's certainly a man mounted.
And in terms of those injuries, everybody can see the speed and the ferocity of some of these impacts, particularly amongst the forwards. Is there anything that you can do training-wise to try and lessen the dangers to these players?
Well, you're coaching the technical side. The game is important. The players are learning the correct techniques. You're also developing them physically in terms of their neck strength and back strength and ability, and their leg strength as well, so that their knees get supported in terms of the power that's there. And I think it's keeping guys flexible and agile throughout. But in a collision sport, you're going to pick up knocks, and you're going to pick up injuries. You're going to, but you get that in all walks of life, don't you? My son's a horse rider, and he damaged his ankle very severely. He's got a plate there now. It happens, and you just have to accept that in terms of playing the sport, that you've got to be as safe as possible in the way that you train. One thing I do know is that if you train quite hard and get used to the tackles, used to the hits going in, it does help you. And I think that's where we make a lot of our training live and very contested. So it just sort of enables your body to withstand the hits and the tackles that are going in. So
just finishing with the injury, anything picked up over the other weekend? Anybody not available for Saturday?
Andy Short picked up an injury, so he got a turf toe, as it's called, and done the ligament in his toe, which he said happened when the force landed on him.
I'm sure he's had a few words about that, but it is something you've been mercifully relatively free of so far this season, those injuries.
Well, I think that's, like all things, it's down to really good training, the work they're doing in the gym, and the conditioning, the agility work, and the prehab work that players are doing, as well as sort of the training that we have, and the technical aspects of the proper tackle technique, the rucking technique. That all goes in hand in hand.
From just looking back to the last match, I mean, a couple of penalty tries, and you must be relatively happy with the way that the forwards have all gelled together. New coaching, new faces. It seems to be coming together quite nicely early in the season.
Well, there's a clear picture of how they want to play, and absolutely delighted with the role that Danny Wilson has done so far, and his whole approach to it, the understanding that the players are getting, the improvement in terms of their ability to maul and to scrummage, as well as simplicity in terms of the line out. So Danny's done really well, but also the players, with the experienced players that we have there, there's been some really good leadership within the group, and the forward pack has started to come and be a real threat, and I think that's always important. You've got to have a strong pack. You've got to be able to mix up the way that you play the game, but we've got to be physical and confrontational in the way that our pack plays, and I think that's what we're developing.
And nice to be able to add to that with Kyle available again from this weekend.
Yeah, Kyle's been available all year. It's just the fact that with the English qualified position that we're in, that he's missed out on selection because Jack O'Connell's done so well, and James Hall has done well as well. So two English qualified lads who have delivered. So it's unfortunate for Carl that he misses out.
But again, in the same position, nice for Ellis, another young local lad, to have come through and impressed last weekend.
Well, 10-minute cameo was really good for Ellis. Yeah, there's a long way to go for Ellis, but if he can put in performances like he put in at the weekend and show the maturity in his game, and he's got a big future.
Has there been, talking to other youngsters, has there been any surprise about the impact that Augie's had in his match? I mean, I think you'd be the first to say he's just finishing off the moves, but to be in the right place at the right time is something that not everybody has the knack of.
Well, he's quick, and he can catch, and he can run straight, and that's what he's done. And he's scored some good tries by doing that. Look, for Augie, he's a good young player. He handles the big occasion really well, and that's what's important when you're playing fullback. He scores tries, but also he saves tries. And the pace that he has and his ability to stop the opposition from scoring, and he never gives up, and he's shown a really good attitude. But again, for a player like Augie, there's a long way for him to go, and there's a lot of improvements for him to make in terms of the game. But we're pleased on he's making steps. His path is going forward at the moment, and he's making some really good improvements.
So mostly this weekend, certainly different surroundings from that you've enjoyed at Ashton Gate over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, but that's a good club, Moseley, and a great atmosphere they have there. They have to work really hard at the club to create the atmosphere that they've got, and to bring the players in that they have, and the development of their players. So we go there at the top of the table, which is the position we want to be. We understand what the challenges are this week, but it's really focusing on ourselves and what we have to do, and there's a lot of quality in our squad, and it's about showing that for the whole 80 minutes.